Dog culture is a human rights and minority rights conversation. Also, a political conversation. It has to be in order for this to have any leverage. So, minority rights are considered very important. They contribute to a stable and just society by ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their minority status, have access to opportunities and protection from discrimination. That's just a little short version, but this also means access to everything that everyone else has: public clinics, parks, streets, um, protection from noise pollution, protection from crime. Like murder is a crime, right? Well, everybody that is a citizen should be protected from murder equally, not just people that own dogs or don't own dogs. So, as a dog owner, you're in the majority. As a non dog owner, as a dog culture critic, you are a minority. If you want to go on a bus, on a car, on a taxi, if you want to go to a clinic, a dental clinic, a medical office, and you do not participate in the hobby of owning a dog, you don't like barking, you don't like the risk of being bitten or attacked, you are a minority. All the bad things that come with dog ownership, if you don't choose that hobby of having poop and piss and risk and expense and everything else in your life, well, you are a minority person and you are given less rights than a dog owner. You are given less consideration, less access to public resources, also less legal representation. Because if a dog owner inflicts some type of pain or trouble on you via their dog, dogs get special respect and representation in our society, and they will automatically say, well, you triggered the dog, you did something bad. Oh, the dog wasn't labeled as a deadly dog prior to this. Dogs kill people, and there are no charges to the owner, no charges to the governments that bring the dogs in. So something wacky is going on with this dog culture. So let's go over to some of the treaties about minorities. This is from a website I'll share. But these are the 9 core international human rights instruments. So let me just show you some of the titles of these. Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. When a pit bull kills and mauls somebody and puts them in the hospital, when a pit bull or other big breed kills a kid in front of the mother or kills a father in front of the son, those things happen. That's cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment. Okay? What about Convention of the Rights of the Child? Don't children have a right to live? They're born into dog-loving families, or a family that's had a pit bull or other large breed for a while. They have a newborn and then the newborn's killed by the dog. What about that? What about people with disabilities? What about this one right here? People with disabilities are targeted by dogs because they're an easier target. What about any of these? What about this protection against prostitution and child pornography? Did you know that dog owners use dogs to lure children into these situations right here? Yeah. What about any of these things? I believe there's one in here about civil and political rights. So if you have a different political opinion about the ownership of dogs, you are not treated as good as a dog owner. I believe there's one in here about women. Oh, here it is right here. 18 December 1979, Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. Well, women are targeted for these jobs in the veterinary clinics, and veterinarians have a high rate of suicide. But our society that worships dogs, they do that. Women are also one of the top targets for dog attacks because the dogs can do it easier. They can jerk the woman down onto the ground, they can overpower them. Children, toddlers, women, senior citizens are the main targets of these dogs. So all of these treaties that are supposed to be civil rights, human rights to protect minorities, how come dog culture gets away with all of this stuff? Here's another article I'll share with you guys. I'll just read a little part of it. The participation of persons belonging to minorities in public affairs and in all aspects of the political, economical, social, and cultural life of the country where they live is in fact essential to preserving their identity and combating social exclusion. So, what about people that are in the minority of not wanting to own dogs? Are they allowed to make decisions like, what's the city going to spend money on? Are you going to spend money on like wheelchair ramps or fixing up playgrounds for kids? Or are you guys going to build a bunch of dog parks? Or are you guys going to spend the city money to fly a plane to another state and bring a bunch of dogs back into the place where all these minorities live? The minority people that don't want dogs. They don't want dog attacks. They don't want barking. They don't want to listen to noise. They want to have a peaceful, quiet life with their fellow humans. Those are the people that are in the minority in our society. There's an article called 5 Ways That Cities Can Use Their Purchasing Power to Support Minorities. Well, what do you think cities are spending their money on? One of the things that cities spend their money on is the dog parks, but they're also running around rescuing dogs. Stupid, idiot, brainless dogs that jump into people's ponds, jump off of cliffs, all kinds of super high dollar rescues. Rescuing dogs. They're just running around doing stupid stuff. And meanwhile, you've got children that are suffering in these cities. You've got people that don't want to own dogs that would like some support or access to infrastructure that you're not going to give them, but you're using your purchasing power to support a stupid habit of dog ownership. Like, what other hobby can you screw up in and endanger your fellow citizens in, and the city will come bail you out? Like, what if somebody doesn't want dogs, instead they want to have a motorcycle? Sure, a motorcycle is potentially dangerous, right? But if you go crash your motorcycle off a cliff and endanger some protected goats or other people that are on the cliff just hanging out, you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to have to pay for the tow bill. You're going to have to pay for insurance. But if you have a dog, these people will go there and rescue the dog for you. They'll take money away from other taxpayers, some of them minorities. And I don't mean just minorities of the people that don't want dogs. There's also just plain minority people. Women and children and ethnic groups that are in minorities, you're taking money away from those minorities and giving them to dogs. So dog culture is like a double punch to minority rights. So the last part of this that I'll mention in this video is this is a political issue. This is a huge political issue. So cities and governments, I have this highlighted right here. I'll put these links in if you want to look at them. But everywhere that we live, our cities and governments have policies to protect the rights of minorities. For the reasons that I previously mentioned, they're an important part of our society. You know, just because everyone else does something a certain way, or has a certain skin color, or a certain sexual preference, or ethnic preference, that doesn't mean they're right. And so that also means that just because, 80 or 90% of us worship dogs, that doesn't mean those 10% of people that don't worship dogs, that doesn't mean that they're wrong. So this is a huge political issue. And you can give other people power by using this politically. For example, if you were talking to somebody in your community, in your church, or if you worked in law enforcement, or you're having a discussion at a city council, you could say, hey, everybody, don't we all agree that the minority people in our community should be treated good, that they should have the same rights that everybody else has? Of course, they're going to say, yes, we support this, rainbow, we support women, children, we support LGBTQIA plus 2S. They're going to jump on the bandwagon to support anybody that they can support. And that's good. But then you can tell them, hey, we have another minority group. We have people that do not want to be attacked by dogs. They don't want to go to the park and see poop and piss everywhere. They're tired of seeing squirrels and birds get chased away. They're tired of even dog owners themselves. Many dog owners are in a minority because they're afraid to take their little dogs out because other people's big dogs are there, or because the ground is just covered with turds at every city park. So the minority groups can also be dog owners that just don't like this modern crappy dog culture. But if you ask that political question, like I just mentioned, that's going to get those people. It's going to be like a wake up call. You're going to kick some people out of this dog worship, and they're going to have to recognize that there is a minority group out there that just doesn't want to deal with the nastiness of dog culture. Again, there's that purchasing power part. Like, what is your city government spending on? Are they doing anything to help the dog owners that want a peaceful, quiet, lovely neighborhood where there's not dog attacks, where there's not strays around every corner, car accidents from dogs? That minority of people, you can help them with your purchasing power and purchase something other than infrastructure that supports dogs. So this is a huge political conversation. And this is why I Hate Dogs and Canine Channel, you guys got to talk about this too. You can't sit over there making another video about how much you hate barking and then get upset when people want to talk about politics or communism or this type of stuff. Because dog people are the majority. People that don't want dogs are the minority. And within the dog culture critic arena on YouTube, people like me are also a minority. I got kicked out of the Cool Club because I spoke some of this stuff before. And I'm not saying that to give anybody crap. Like, guys, go out there and watch all those other channels. I'm just using my situation as an example. I became a minority because I didn't pull the weight of the most popular YouTube channels. And that's exactly what's happening in dog culture. So the dog culture, the anti-dog culture, it's starting to become the same thing. So that has been a little bit longer than I expected. Look at the rights of minorities, but dog culture critics, don't you guys realize that you're being treated like a minority? Everywhere you go, you're a minority. Conversations on Facebook, social media, conversations in person. You go to your in-laws' house for Christmas and they can't put their gigantic dog away. This is a picture somebody gave me permission to use. It's a Facebook friend. This is their when they try to visit one of their relatives on holidays. They're treated like a minority. Their shoes are getting chewed while they wear them. The person that sent me this picture told me the story about how their shoes, the dog, this big ass sloppy spoiled dog, tried to eat their shoes while they were wearing the shoes. And the in-laws are too busy spoiling this gigantic beast, this big stinky dog that likely one day will attack or kill somebody. And so they are in the minority. The in-laws that go to a house where they don't want to deal with dogs, they just want to have 2 or 3 days of good interaction with their in-laws. Nope, you're a freaking minority. So they're not going to let you do it. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the comments, hopefully. Bye.